This wasn't a race. It was a solo push across the Tararua Main Range, through darkness, strong wind, and exhaustion. Over 48 hours, I walked the ridgeline alone, slept on a hot deck, and questioned more than once whether I could keep going. With less than 5 kilometers to go, I had almost gave up on the goal. And yet, I crossed the finish line with just 1 minute left. This is Tararua SK. I first heard about this challenge from James and Alice. When the weather window finally appeared, I was the only one who could make it. When the ride to Putara Road end was confirmed, it all became real. After a relay ride from Millen and David, I started walking at 5:30 p.m. That's the start of SK. I pushed the pace early. I knew I'd be walking at night, so I wanted to cover as much ground as possible before sunset. One of my trekking poles snapped. All I could do was hope the other one would last the rest of the trip. I reached the west peak just before it became fully dark. It was a full moon night with a clear sky, and I could see the lights from the surrounding towns. The night walk turned out to be calm and surprisingly beautiful. I reached the Dundas Hut before midnight, jumped straight into bed, and tried to sleep under the bright moonlight. The morning was stunning. I noticed the orange glow of sunrise, but didn't even bother getting up to take photos. There were 2 other trampers and a dog in the hut. I discovered a tear in my fast pack from the night before. Thankfully, one of the trampers gave me some tape to stop it getting worse. After playing with the dog for a bit, I set off. Go, see you! The walk from Dundas Hut to Arete was enjoyable. Okay. More than 10 hours to go, but I think under control. From there, I entered the Tararuas section. The track was clearer, but still tough. I met several TA walkers along the way. Yeah.
Hi.
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 Oh, nice.
Hey.
Yeah. By the time I reached Anderson Memorial Hut, I had already been moving for 9.5 hours. This is often where a 48-hour mission turns into a 72-hour one. But I couldn't find a reason to stop. I knew the real challenge would begin from here. I boiled water and ate a full pack of real meals to fill the next 4.5 hours to Maungahuka Hut. In hindsight, this was a bad but also a very good decision. Soon after leaving the hut, my stomach started protesting. The discomfort was manageable, but I couldn't enjoy the goblin forest at all. After an hour, my stomach finally settled, and I could focus again. About an hour from Maungahuka Hut, the wind picked up, clouds rolled in, and the sun started to set. The final climb was tough. I had to encourage myself constantly. When Maungahuka Hut appeared in the cloud, I felt a huge sense of relief until I realized it was completely full. There was no floor space, nowhere to boil water, and it was too windy to cook outside. It was already 10 p.m. I laid my baby out on the hut deck to stop myself losing body heat and tried to sleep. It was a broken night. People came and went for the toilet, though everyone was as quiet as possible. The wind lasted all night and showed no sign of easing. At 5 a.m., one tramper left, which finally forced me out of my warm sleeping bag. I ate a piece of chocolate and started climbing Maungahuka. The wind was still strong, but within safe limits. In fog and wind, I climbed the ladder and crossed the Tararuas peaks. Because I skipped a proper breakfast, I had to eat snacks and gels frequently. Maungahuka Hut was so busy last night. 19 people in the hut. So I think this morning I'm going to just start very early and go to Kime Hut to have some hot water. As I approached Kime Hut, the cloud finally lifted, though the wind stayed strong. After about 4 hours, I reached Kime Hut, boiled water, and ate half a pack of real meal, a lesson learned from the day before. The trampers there told me the Kime Hut had been overflowing as well. Yeah, it's a public holiday. After warm food and water, I felt much better and climbed Mount Hector. Hi. Third time lucky, I finally had views from the top. The wind on the ridgeline was brutal. At times, I had to fight just to stay upright. Once I dropped below the bushline, the wind finally disappeared. At Alpha Hut, after my last energy gel, I realized I had less than 4.5 hours left to reach Cattle Key if I wanted to finish under 48 hours. I felt the pressure, but stayed positive. The year before, during the Tararuas mountain race, I had run from Cattle Key to Alpha under 4 hours, with even more climbing. But cumulative exhaustion made everything harder. Even downhill felt painful. And this is Tararuas. The climbs never truly end. Every uphill made me swear. Blisters under my feet turned steep, root-filled descents into a slow, painful grind. At one point, I gave up the idea of finishing under 48 hours. Then, with 5 kilometers to go, the track became smoother and more runnable. I realized if I run, it was still possible. So I ran. I gave everything I had left and sprinted into Kentucky Car Park. 47 hours and 59 minutes. I collapsed onto the ground just as Melon arrived with a cold drink. It was the best drink I've ever had.
Thank you.
This trip reminded me how much we take for granted. A warm room, a comfortable bed, and the simple comfort of home. Spending a night on a hot deck in wind and fog puts everything into perspective. Take a moment to look around and appreciate what you have.